Welcome everyone. Today we're having the Genshin Pack News Digest. In this video, we're looking to solve the very important security related issues and also the new ban wave from MiHoYo. So over here we can see from some of the Reddit posts, there are currently a number of bans which can last up to 15 years. And the reason for those bans are very important. Some of those about game data errors, some of those about using third-party devices, or maybe using third-party logins. And there's a number of new ways a player can be banned. So in this video, we'll have a look at all the ways a player can be banned, including some of the third-party purchases, including using the wrong names or the wrong signatures, or the teapot placement, and also posting sensitive words which may lead to offensive, political, or maybe just saying negative things about the characters. So it's actually quite important to know those. And I've been looking around on the Chinese and also Reddit community about all the ways that players can be banned, even abusing some of the known bugs which can create the game data error, and that can lead us to be banned. And if you have a look at this particular post, you can see one of the reasons a player can be banned for 15 years is to have the game data error, which is very important for us to be aware. We'll also be going through the other security related information and also guides about how accounts can be hacked and also the current update with account security. Things are getting better, but there's a few things we should also be aware as well. So there has been less reports of the security hacked accounts because of the new security emplacement. And also finally, we'll have a look at one of the latest patch event with the MiHoYo Ban video event. And this event has a very interesting participation. So as long as we record a video of us completing the challenge, we'll have a chance to win 300 promo gems and also some merchandise. And also for all the travelers that participated, there's a random 50 draw of getting those prizes. So we'll go through the details of this event and also the chances of winning those promo gems. Now coming over to the most important news of the day. Currently, there seems to be a new ban wave with MiHoYo and also with Genshin Impact. So what is happening is, currently a lot of players have been banned, and I've heard about this from a lot of viewers. And also they also direct me to this Reddit post about the new ban wave, which you can see a number of examples in English and also in, I believe this is Russian. So a number of reasons players can be banned. And I did take a lot of time to research on the different forums and also on different posts and different sites about what are the ways players can be banned and what are the things we should be aware of. Now currently, a player can be banned up to 15 years away from the game. And as we can see from this Reddit post, which will go in more details very soon, you can see the dates over here is to 2036. And you can see the dates over here on the 25th of June, which is very recent. This just started. And it's very important for us to be aware of this. Some of the players are also banned for only 1 month for certain minor rubrics and also different policies. So there has been some change with policies and also reasons players can be banned. So other players will be banned for 1 year up to 15 years. And because there are several existing and also new reasons, I really want to make this video to warn you guys. And if you do think you're in risk with some of those behaviors, make sure you adjust immediately by changing your message, or maybe by taking some precaution steps, or maybe by taking some preparations. So let's come over to this particular Reddit post first, then we'll go through the number of ways you can be banned. So as you can see in this Reddit post, which I cannot read Russian I believe, so you can see on the first one, you can see the game data error. And as we go on to one of the reasons can be banned, this can generate from the internet, this can be generating from players taking advantage of known in-game bugs, which leads to, farming a lot of items, a lot of, unnatural farming of items, maybe getting 1,000, maybe 10,000 items within a few hours. And over here, you can see there's another ban, and this particular ban only lasted for 1 month, but this is about using third-party plugins and also third-party softwares. And sometimes, players who are using those third-party softwares might not even be trying to hack or abuse the game. They're just running the add-ons for a different game, maybe World of Warcraft, maybe a different game, maybe just for the hotkeys, for the micros, for casting different spells. So it's very important for us to be aware of what can be banned and what are the consequences. You can see here, this is banned for about 1 month, and over here, this is banned for 15 years. And we can also see over here, this is also banned for 15 years. Now coming back to our notes of the reasons we can be banned as a player. So I have ranked those reasons from the most important up to the uncertain ones at number 7. We'll go through all of those together. So the first one, I'm sure some of you might have heard, and if you haven't heard of this is actually very important. This is about a certain abuse and also refund payment purchase. And this is the most important thing with MiHoYo about banning players. Because what happens is, a player can make an in-game purchase, maybe say $100 USD, and get the 9,000 promo gems. And then they can go to the bank or something, try to claim the money back. And if they do that, MiHoYo will detect this. Even after a few months, they will detect this. They will ask the players to top up to the exact amount that was refunded. And if this is not topped up correctly, And the players are usually given 1 to 2 month time to top up to the exact amount that was refunded. If the players are not topping up, then this can lead to the account being banned, and this might lead to a permanent ban, because this is seen from the MiHoYo perspective as players are stealing money from the company. Now this can also happen when players are actually not aware of this. If a player actually go with a third-party purchase of Primogems, which I never recommend, this can also happen to them. So it is very important for us to not purchase discounted Primogems on third-party sellers, because they might seem legit, they might give you the Primogems, but when after a few months they might claim the Primogem back, then you have to pay additional, otherwise your account can be banned. And as with all of the ban waves with MiHoYo, this is the most focus for them, because this particular action of the abuse of the refund methods is actually making them lose a lot of money. And this is usually that starts the ban wave. Once there's a lot of refunding people, this will be the first, the player database that will be focused on. And it's quite important, guys, if you're planning to buy Primogems, always buy from our official site. Now coming over to the second reason why players can be banned, and this can range from 1 month to about 1 to 2 years. And this is about using third-party add-ons or softwares. So what is happening is, previously there's a lot of Chinese gaming studios that actually runs in-game plugins and also bots to make generic accounts and also to farm for 5-star starter accounts. So basically they make bots and scripts and they get the account to be running around for like half an hour, then they sell those accounts to if they have a 5-star, maybe a 5-star Kachin, 5-star Deluxe, so the startup characters. So this was one of the reasons players were, the accounts were banned, because those accounts were sold, then later on those accounts were banned. But later on, MiHoYo has taken more actions to look for those add-ons and also softwares. So even games on the external logins or external bots from other games. So one of the Chinese players actually reported that he was using M-bots for Fortnite, or like a Counter-Strike shooting game, and he was banned because he had M-bots running during Genshin Impact. So, so right now, if you're using plugins or if you're using bots or if you're using any add-ons for any games with intended purpose to bot the game, then you're really at risk. If you're using for other purposes, some of the Chinese players have reported they are using the World of Warcraft add-ons with the hotkey controls with multiple macros, and that was also detected. And he was banned for about a month because of that. So be extra careful, guys. If you're running the Genshin Impact game, make sure you don't have any softwares or third-party softwares that is running in the background. And we never know how it is detected by MiHoYo and how they're detecting this. But if you do get detected, you can be banned up to 1 month or even further. And if you come back to the Reddit post, you can see on the third message, this is one of the reasons the player were banned for 1 month over here, up to the 25th of July. So it is actually quite important, guys, to be aware of this. Now, I have heard about multiple cases of this is a misban for some of the Chinese players, and they were able to speak to the support and also restore their account. So instead of getting banned for 1 month or maybe 1 year, they were able to get their account back in 7 to 14 days. But we don't want to not be able to play for that many days. So be extra careful, guys. If you're using any add-ons or any softwares, any plugins, even if it's not for Genshin Impact, be extra careful to turn those off before you start the game. Now coming over to the third reason why players can be banned. So over here, we have touched about this previously, and this was actually from one of the MiHoYo official warnings. So at the very start of the game, about 5 or 6 months ago, this was warned to the players. And I believe the new players that's joining the game that's not aware of this. We do also have a video about this. I'll have the links for you guys. So currently, if your in-game name with the Genshin Impact in any of the language, it's in Chinese, if it's in English, or if your signature message, which you can leave a message to show people who visit your account, or if you're chatting with different friends in-game. If you do have any of the offensive language or racist words, or anything that is banned in China or maybe globally known, and this is also related to the promotion or the sales of Primogems. So the initial focus was the sale of Primogems. As we talked about previously, the first reason people are getting banned was that, third-party rechargers are trying to sell Primogems for a discount. And a lot of them were actually making accounts and changing their messages saying, come to this website or come over to this server to get a discount of Primogems. And others were trying to scam others for their login details to try to sell their account. So this is the initial reason why players can be banned with those signatures or the in-game names or the chats. Now later on, I have heard from some of the Chinese players that they were actually just bragging off how much they got with the Primogems, or they were just bragging off with the sensitive words about, how good their account is. So be extra careful if your name or if your signature message actually contain the words of recharge, Primogems, or the ability to get someone a 5-star weapon, or give me something for free. So be extra careful. Try to not become suspicious or be suggestive with your in-game name or your signature messages. And if you do think this is somewhere in the bottom line of, maybe this is a little risky, make sure you change your name, guys, because it is not worth it to have your game name or, the signature messages being a little blur and then this gets caught up in the keywords. So we're not sure all of the keywords, but I'm sure most of us know like if we're at risk. So a normal name, a normal message wishing everyone good luck is fine. So try to not be in the line that they might see us as trying to sell promo gems or try to scam others. Now coming over to the fourth reason why players can be banned, and this only happened after patch 1.5. So if you guys remember with patch 1.5, when the teapot system was first introduced, there was actually a big warning message that came up when we entered the teapot. So MiHoYo is actually taking this one very seriously, because warning says you cannot make structures or placement in such a way it is offensive, it is rude, or suggestive in any of the words, whether it's in Chinese, whether it's in English or different language. There will be an algorithm or data in place to check for those. And some of the Chinese players that didn't take this seriously, after patch 1.5, they were banned for 1 month up to 1 year because of this. So this is actually quite serious. Be careful how we place the teapot and also housing system. And if you just placing them randomly, make sure you have a look if this is suggestive in any of the, the root parts or, any language that can be representative. So I know this is taking things a little extreme, but MiHoYo is very serious, because I have heard of cases with Animal Crossing with people and making different images that became very sensitive in China, and the whole game was banned. So be extra careful, guys, with your housing and also your teapot placement. Now coming over to the fifth point of how players can be banned. So this one has to deal with the forum posts or the social media with MiHoYo. And over here, I have heard reports from the Chinese players who are actually posting on the Chinese forum about any news about upcoming characters, speculations, or even fan arts that become too realistic. And something with regards with political or something that is offensive is a big no with the social media. This is actually understandable because, they don't like, information that is too much in the future. But be extra careful, guys. There's also reports from the Chinese players that they were trying to say negative things about the character because they spend, 180 wishes for the character, and the constellation 1 of a certain character is not to their liking. So they start to post on the forums and also on Discords and also on other social medias like Instagram and also on Twitters about, this character is not worth your money. And from the marketing perspective, this will affect the sales and also income from the MiHoYo banners if this does bring a lot of attraction. Now, there were a few cases of the Chinese players posting negativity on the MiHoYo forum about those characters. Some of those were about stats comparison as well. And they were actually banned for maybe 1 month or up to 1 year. This is because MiHoYo is currently taking a very tough stance about people potentially starting up dramas. We have talked about this previously. They do have a point of view, but I think they're being too tough on the players who are just talking about characters. So their view is, currently there's a lot of competitors that are attacking them. They're hiring a lot of people to come and flood the forum with negativity. So in order to protect themselves from the negativity attacks from the competitors, which are the Chinese mobile companies, MiHoYo is actually taking a very tough stance on any negativity about the characters. And this can come from a common player that is just complaining, that is not liking the character. So be extra careful, guys. This particular ban will be related to the forums. So your forum account may be banned for maybe a month, maybe a year. And this might not be a direct ban to your account, so your gaming account. But there will be a downside to this. As we're going to see on the second part of this particular video, we'll be talking about a 1.6 event. And although this might not ban our account directly, this will limit our access to the forums. And this will also limit to the participation of those new events. And this means, if there's a new event in the future that requires us to go onto the forum, if you're banned on the forum, you cannot directly get the promo gems or the free rewards directly to your account, which can be very frustrating. Now, if you haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so. Make sure you also turn the bell on for the latest news as I find more of them for us. You can see that we're really dedicated for Genshin Impact. We'll have builds, guides, tips, news, and events updates for everything that's Genshin Impact related. Now coming over to the 6th and also 7th reasons why players can be banned. So those two are directly related. The 6th reason is that players are purposely knowing and are also abusing certain bugs within the game. As you guys might have seen some of the videos, which I have seen at the start of the game, there's a lot of loops in the game that you can actually infinitely abuse for certain items in the game, including hitting certain grass or certain plants for mushroom and also eggs for a certain interaction within the game. Because naturally, if you hit a bush with your weapon, this can randomly drop some mushrooms and also some eggs. But there have been some known abuses that can generate abnormal amount of eggs and also mushrooms. I mean, why would we need that much mushrooms, right? So I have heard players who have gotten 9,999 eggs within about 1 to 2 hours. They just grinded everything, and they were like trying to get the most out of the game. But be careful guys, because by actually abusing those known bugs and also new bugs in the future, this can flag within the server. Because the server can detect this as abnormal data. Because no way normal gameplay you can get 9,999 eggs, and even with teammates like foes, you can't get that many chickens, right? So one of the reasons the player can be banned is the game data error. Currently, it is unknown whether this is related to the game abusing or other uncertainties within the game. So as you can see over here, one of the reasons players can be banned is game data error. And this definitely has to do with the data that is sent to the server. So once the server receives irregular data that might lead to abnormal amount of items or loot generated from a particular account, this might lead to the developers looking into the account, and then this might lead to the banning of the accounts. So we really don't want to risk that. Now, I have also heard about certain types of players trying to go and also abuse the internet and also intentionally trying to get good wishes. What players were saying is some of them were trying to do different internet feedback data to try to trick the server to give them 5 stars. So they can be very intentional game data error that was aimed at the server. So currently we're not sure how many direct reasons the game data error can happen. But it's very important guys to have a stable internet and also to try to not generate any of the irregular data, maybe getting too many loots or maybe trying to connect too many times within the game where your internet's not stable. So if you're thinking like the action you're doing might lead you to generate some of the game data errors, let's say if you go under the map or if you take one of those weird game bugs and you go under the water and you start swimming, like if you do any of those, I don't recommend it because we don't actually get anything out of it. It's just like going into the 3D models of the game. And this might generate some of the errors with the game data. So be extra careful guys. I am not sure currently how this is proceeded, because players can accidentally fall into the game and actually just get smacked into the ground. And if this happened to you once or twice, try to not repeat this maybe 10 or 20 times. Because if you repeat this too many times, then this might be seen as a game data error. And this is definitely something that we can be banned for over 15 years. Now before we go to the next part, I also had some questions about viewers asking me why am I not posting giveaways that ask about personal information. So as you guys know, there are currently some third-party giveaways, and some of those has been given away for multiple times. So I'll give you guys one of the examples over here. You can see on the Reddit post over here with a 50 Primo Gem redemption code by signing up to the Steel series. I'm not saying Steel series is not legitimate. They have been giving Primo Gems multiple times, and most of the players have gotten those Primo Gems. What I do want to warn you guys is, if it's a third-party giveaway, be extra careful if it's asking you for your personal information. And also if it takes you to another website, if you ask for account details, it is definitely not worth it if you're getting the 50 or the 60 Primo Gems. That is why if I see a giveaway with Primo Gems or Primo Codes, I usually make sure this is from the official MiHoYo. And personally, I haven't tried any of those giveaways from the third party because I don't want to share my personal information. So be extra careful guys. I'm not saying those giveaways are not legitimate, but just be careful when you go onto those. If they ask for too much information, then consider if it's worth it to go for those Primo Gems. Now because we're having a video on account security, I also want to bring us back to some of the known information of how most players can lose their account. I think it's quite important, especially for new players that's coming into the game. So over here I have listed some of the previous information of how we can lose an account. The first thing is never give away your account information, including emails, passwords, or any of the the sensitive information within your game. And also don't go on to any of the third-party websites. They may even be fake YouTube advertisement. They may be tricks of getting a lot of Primo Gems, hacks, and softwares they want you to download on iOS or Android. Don't believe those, and don't even try to click on those websites, because by clicking on those websites, you might lose your personal data. Now we have also talked about previously about purchasing or buying accounts from third-party top-ups or just buying accounts outright. I never recommend buying or purchasing third-party top-ups because those are subject to refunds and you will be you'll be led to ban. And also if you're trading accounts, the seller of the account can always try to claim the account back, because if they have more details on the account, even if you change a lot of details on the account, it is not worth it. I've heard multiple cases from the Chinese firm about people buying accounts and then losing the accounts after. So the seller sells them an account for very cheap, let's say $50. They spend $200 in the account. Then the seller sees that they spent money in the account, then they actually took their account back. So the seller was actually baiting them to spend money in the game. So be careful guys, never buy or trade accounts and don't recharge from third-party sellers. Now over here, we also have some of the account security concerns and also myths about the account security. Just to make sure you guys are aware of this, currently we cannot be hacked if we give away our user ID alone, but try to not give your user ID too much, because people can try to top up on your user ID. This might not seem to be a bad thing for you, but this might lead to refunds, so be careful to give away your user ID. Now even though we cannot be hacked directly just with user ID alone, I don't recommend sharing this with too many people. And also, never share your username or email that is linked to the account, because those are very important in protecting your account. Now one of the reasons we want to protect the user ID is that there is possibility of a third-party top-up directly through user ID. And if that was done with a stolen credit card and later refunded by the bank, then this can lead to negative primogems, and this is one of the biggest reasons accounts are getting banned right now. So be extra careful guys. Although you cannot lose your account by getting hacked, you can lose your account with user ID and also negative primogems, which is actually quite concerning. Now some of the viewers were asking me about the accounts that were hacked and also items destroyed. This is a very concerning factor, and we have talked about this previously. Now from what I'm hearing from the support is that there might be ways to recover your lost items. So make sure guys, if you think your account may be at risk, or if you just want to be careful, make sure you record all the details of your 5-star item and also of your precious artifacts. Because there may be ways if you do lose your account, you can contact support and get those items back. So make sure you have the screenshots and also the resource ready to claim those back. Now on the topic of account security, with the latest 2-factor variation in place, there have been less cases of the hack accounts. So after patch 1.5 and also patch 1.6, I have heard less cases of accounts being hacked. Most of those do happen with players going on to run sites or going on to run clicks or going for the fake primogem clicks. So this is a good news, and with a less fewer case of the hack accounts, hopefully there will be less account trading and there will be less targeting towards the players. So I do think those sound good news about account security. And as long as we're aware of the dangers of the risks of getting banned and also protect our accounts, we can have more better time within the game. Now coming over to a final part of the video. There has been a new event that was announced on MiHoYo forum, and this one is a video event. So this event will start on the 25th of June and finish on the 4th of July, and the result will be announced on the 20th of July. To participate in this particular event, we need to make a video or record a video of us fighting the particular event, one of the event bosses, and also clearing the challenge. And once we have this video, we can post this video on the event detail page on the forum. And this is why we don't want to get banned on the forum guys, because if you want to participate on those events, you need your forum account. Now once the participation is successful, there are a number of rewards that is given to the players. So currently, it is randomly selected to all the players that submit their video. So about 50 people can be getting the 300 primogems or the 100 primogems, and also with some of the merchandise prizes. So if you guys are interested, while you fight those bosses, make sure you record yourself. Maybe fight them on the lowest difficulty, and record for about 10-15 seconds, and then give yourself a try with the free primogems. And because we know there's a number of events like those particular events, which with participation and also random rewards, we really don't want to get banned on the official forum. And this is why I want to come back to this particular reason. So be extra careful guys when you're posting forum posts on the official forum. You don't want to say something that is sensitive, something that is negative, and that can lead you to be banned, because this will limit our participation of upcoming events. Now before we finish the video, be extra careful guys, because we know there's a new ban wave with MiHoYo. This started usually with players topping up and also refunding, and now this actually expand to a lot of different reasons, with using add-ons with different in-game names and also signatures, with the teapot system and also posting the sensitive words on the forum post. After that, we also know that with the game data error, this is actually very dangerous, because we have seen that players can be banned for up to about 15 years over here with those particular game data errors. So be extra careful guys, there are a number of things that can lead us to be banned, and I really want you guys to be careful, because we know Inazuma is coming, there's a lot of new content, we really don't want to get banned. And if you guys want to look at the comments over here, people are saying, oh, 15 years. With the 15 years, you can get all the contents, all the city ready. And also players like, that's right. And that's something I want to highlight with you guys. It's like unlawful activities. Now, they were talking about lawful activities with not gliding in Mondstadt. So there's a lot of fun posts over here and also comments about the players getting banned. And one of those was about killing Timmy's birds. So if you guys do want to have a look, I also have the link for this Reddit post over here for you guys. Now if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe and also turn the little bell on for the latest news. I'll be looking towards to make more builds, guides, tips and news and event updates for us as we come further into the game. And as always, I wish you guys the best of luck with Genshin and have the most fun in exploring this wonderful world.